Hey, what's up everyone? This is Sam from All 5 and I'm doing the Q&A video. If you remember from the 10k thank you video, I asked if you had any questions to leave them in the comments, and a few of you did, so I'm going to be answering your questions today. So let's go ahead and kick it off, as we've got quite a few to get through. We start with Daniel Reed, and he asks, what inspired you to make your channel? I believe someone else asked the same question. Yes, Logan Bailey also asked what inspired you to start your channel. So Logan Bailey, sorry, and Daniel Reed. What inspired me to start my channel? I don't think there was anything in particular that kind of inspired me or made me do it. It was more just I've always kind of wanted to do something in the creative side. What I did before, I had my own software company and I enjoyed that a lot to a certain extent. I enjoyed creating the software, I enjoyed the creation part, but I didn't enjoy the other parts. So I recently, well, I say recently, but it was about a year ago, I sold the company, and from there I just felt that now would be a good time. If I want to do something I really truly love and actually turn that into a career, now would be a good time to start. And out of everything, I felt YouTube was just one of those things I really enjoy doing and really enjoy making videos. So I thought, yeah, why not? Now or never, really. It's the best time to start. And that's really what inspired me to create it. Was more just the right time at the right place and so forth. So thank you for that question. The next question we have is by Kiss Hodges. Kiss Hodges. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. And he asks, what is wrong with your mouth? I assume that question would pop up at some point. Nothing is wrong with it, I would say. It wasn't an accident or anything like that. I was just born with basically an underbite. So while most people, well, the majority of people I should say, they don't have an overbite, but their jaw, basically the first jaw, so if you imagine this is your front teeth, or your top jaw, and your bottom jaw goes underneath. When you clench your mouth shut, the front goes over the bottom, right? Sorry, I'm probably making this really way too more confusing, but it is. With me, it's the other way around. So my bottom goes over my top, and what that is basically, it doesn't cause really any other problems. I can eat fine, I don't have any pain or anything like that. It just causes a bit of a problem with talking. When it comes to talking, I have to literally move my mouth to say certain syllables. It also gives me a lisp, which kind of sucks, but you know, I've learned to live with it. It's not a big deal. At the end of the day, I see it as no different as being left-handed or right-handed. And I'm actually left-handed too, so I'm odd in many ways, if you put it that way. But yeah, it's I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with it. It's just a weird jaw, I would say. So thank you for that question, Akis. So the next question is Michael. What are your hobbies other than YouTube? To be honest, I don't have much time now that I started YouTube. I kind of set this goal of a video a day, and the more effort I put into my videos, because now I'm seeing there's more of an audience, I'm really putting a lot more effort into my videos. I want to up the production. I'm constantly trying to make it better, trying to find ways to make it better. Each video is taking longer and longer to make. So on a day, it would take me, I mean, each video can take 6 to 7 hours to make. So as you can imagine, I don't have a lot of time for my hobbies. But saying that, my hobbies really are working, to be fair. I mean, like I said, making these videos is actually a hobby at the same time. As I said before, it's something I really enjoy doing. So it kind of is a hobby, I guess, even though it is work. But I do enjoy cooking as well. I love cars. I'm quite a big petrol head. I do really enjoy cars, just in all sorts, you know. I'm always just flicking around, looking at different cars, seeing which one I should get and so forth. But yeah, cars is quite a big thing for me. Cooking as well, I do really like cooking as well. I think it's good just to make your own food. You can experiment, and you know, I don't know, it feels good just being able to cook well. But I don't have any crazy hobbies. Like I don't skydive or you know, really, you know, mad hobbies or anything like that. It's pretty standard, to be honest. But thank you for that question, Michael. Next question was Team Cross asks, whereabouts are you from? I'm from England, and yeah, I'm from England. I don't know what else there is to say. If you want to know where in England, just north of London is where I'm from. I'm from a small village just north of London. I won't say the name because there's literally 5 houses in the village, so it won't be easy to track down or anything. Don't want to get any future stalkers or anything like that. But yeah, a small village just north of London. Newbie123PG says, also for the Q&A, what's your favourite website? That's a good one. Well, I kind of have to say YouTube, don't I? Because I'm a YouTuber. Now I'm a YouTuber. I kind of have to say YouTube. But apart from YouTube, my favourite website, it's going to sound quite boring, but probably Wikipedia. I know that sounds tremendously boring, but genuinely Wikipedia is actually really great. I mean, of course I use it a lot for the research for the videos, but aside from the research, every night when I'm, you know, about to fall asleep, I'm always generally on Wikipedia just reading random articles. I'm talking the most randomest stuff. Just kind of like, it just kind of builds your general knowledge, and it's you kind of just learn bits of everything, you know, and it's really interesting. And a lot of times you discover stuff you just weren't aware of before. So Wikipedia and YouTube is definitely right at the top there. Next question, that random YouTuber asks, where did you come up with Feed Your Mind? That's a good question. It was really, I mean, originally when I wanted to start a YouTube channel, like I'm talking a year and a half ago, I first kind of came up with the idea. I was actually going to do just purely educational videos, similar to like Vsauce, for example. But I realized the videos, they take a long time to produce. They're much more difficult than the kind of list videos. But I wanted to produce regular content. I really wanted to, so it was kind of difficult. So originally the channel was going to be called Feed Your Mind, and it was going to be like an educational based channel. And then when I changed the idea and I thought, okay, I'll do it as a list-based kind of channel, top 5 list, if you want to call it that. And I'll have once in a while I'll do an educational video as well. So I couldn't call it Feed Your Mind anymore. So I came up with all 5. And the Feed Your Mind bit really just came from like brain food. You know, knowledge is kind of like brain food, and then rather than calling it brain food, food for the mind, Feed Your Mind, it just kind of came from there. But yeah, good question. Thank you for that. Next question, The Driver. Oh, he's got 2 questions, and he asks, how long does it take you to make a video? So each video can take up to 6 to 10 hours even. It depends on the video. Well, saying that, there were a few videos, a handful, mostly the celebrity-based ones are really easy to make, because you've got loads of pictures of those celebrities. All the information is kind of just out there. You don't really have to research much. And they can sometimes just take 3 hours, maybe 3-4 hours. But some of the longer videos, not even just length, but some of the videos that just take longer to make because there might be subjects where not so much information's about around it, they can take up to 10 hours sometimes. But I don't make a video from start to finish. I usually record loads of intros at once. And then I start writing the scripts, and then I just start editing. So I'm always, right now, I think I'm working on about 3 different videos at the same time. So I don't just make them from start to finish, because then I would never be able to do a video a day. And the second question is, what camera and software do you use? The camera, I don't actually even know what the name is. It's a Panasonic 4K camera. I'll put a picture or write the name of it here somewhere. But it's a Panasonic 4K. I don't shoot in 4K because 4K is just way too hard to work with. It's just takes up too many resources. Memory and just RAM as well when you're trying to run it on a computer. My computer is about 2-3 years old now, and it just can't really handle 4K properly. So I shoot in 1080p, but yeah, it's a 4K camera. It's pretty good. It does what I need basically. And what software do you use? I use Sony Vegas. I don't know which edition. I think 11 maybe. but Sony Vegas is what I use. And the last question by Mr. Rich Bob, or Mr. Rich Bob, he asks, "Congratulations, Sam, who I believe is a New Zealander based on your accent. Though watch you be the only Australian in the world with a New Zealand accent. New Zealand has possibly the best accent in the world. My question is implied in the statement." Right. You're not the first. You're not the first to think I'm from New Zealand. I personally can't hear that I sound like I'm from New Zealand, but I've never been to New Zealand or Australia. I've never hung around with people from New Zealand, so I couldn't have picked up the accent that way. I believe, I mean, I don't know why that is. I'm not from New Zealand. I am, like I said, from a little village north of London. So I'm not sure why that is. I think it's probably, again, going back to my whole jaw issue, that maybe because I have that impediment, I have to slur sometimes some of my words, or I can't pronounce it as other people would be able to, and that may distort my accent a bit. And I did actually read a study, it was actually not too long ago, that they believe that the Australian and New Zealand accent actually was influenced by people getting drunk, because apparently when they first came to New Zealand, so when the English first went to New Zealand and Australia even, it was more about Australia, to be honest. The study didn't really mention New Zealand, but they're quite close together. So, but when they first went to Australia, they liked to drink a lot, because they were kind of permanently drunk. Their accent kind of were formed about slurring the words and, you know, having that kind of drunkish, tipsy kind of tone or twang to their voice, and that's apparently where the accent formed. That's just one study I heard. I don't know if it's true, but that's just what I've read somewhere. But it's an interesting theory. So it could be that, but no, I'm not from New Zealand. But that is all the questions. I hope I answered all your questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to drop them in the description, or not in the description, sorry, in the comments below. And I'll make a follow-up video if I get enough questions. I'll make another one answering more. So once again, thank you all. And until next time, feed your mind.